Hey everyone. Okay, today we're going to be doing a tutorial on the Mermaid pre-sketch option. So here I have two of my pre-sketches. You might get one of them if you order the Mermaid. And here's one that I'm going to work on. It's kind of a little one that's like one-off, but you know, I'm not going to send you guys that one, so I'm going to work on that one. It's still going to be pretty good. So, got all my stuff ready. I have my mixing palette over here. I also have my brushes, my paper towels, and I have my dirty water in quotations here for cleaning my brushes, and then I have the clean water that I'm going to use for putting on the paint. So first things first, I think I'm going to put my paints out. So in every kit that you get, there's going to be the basic primary and secondary colors, and well, you're obviously going to have the primary colors, and then for the secondary colors you'll get some shades that are more relevant to like the options that you chose. But all the colors you choose, whether or not you know they go with the painting that you picked, are going to be able to like mix into other colors, if that makes sense. Okay, so anyways, for our palette right now, I'm going to put out a red, and I was just going to put out a tube, but forgot I have my little thing here, Scarlet Red, which is like what you guys are going to get. So I'm going to open that up. Should be still nice and wet inside. It's my little experiment for the past couple of days to check to make sure they all work. And I'm going to take a little bit of that out. I'm going to put it in my mixing palette, and I'm going to wash my brush in the dirty water. So I got that, and you're going to do that with the rest of your colors just like that. You don't want to cross-contaminate like the colors, just so you can use them again and they're nice and pure and, you know, not mixed with other colors. So have the red, then I'm going to put my blue. Then depending on the other pre-sketch images that you get with your kit, if you get this one, you'll probably get also a second blue, because you do get 7 different watercolors, but really depends on the other thing you order. You might not get this. If you do, awesome. I'll try not to use it too much during this thing though, but it's up to you if you want to use it in your own little masterpiece. Okay, so put a second blue out. You're also going to get, of course, a yellow. And we're going to put down a nice green. Everyone's going to get a green for sure, even though it's a secondary color. They'll still get one. And then we're going to put out a purple. And then last but not least, I'm going to put out this orangey red. You might also get this in your kit. If you don't, no, don't fret. Easy to make. We'll just see what goes. And also, of course, you're going to want to use your white gouache, which you're going to get in your kit. So I'm going to put that there. Okay. So, sorry, I know the colors are a little bit complicated, like depending on what you get in your kit, but you're gonna get everything you need, don't worry. And when you have the basic like primary colors, they're all easy to mix on your own to make, you know, a million other colors. And if you need my help at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here for you. I will help you when it comes to mixing your color palettes or doing whatever you need. Just help with anything. Don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so anyways, now I'm going to get to my painting over here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to erase some of the lines I have here. So yours are going to be a little more drawn out and thoughtful than the one I have here, but still got to do this part. So, and this is just so I'm erasing it just lightly enough that I can still see all the lines and I know where I'm going to be putting things, but I don't want the graphite or the pencil to mix in or smudge with my watercolors, so of course I gotta erase as much as I can, but not too much. Okay, now after I've done that, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take my washi tape, and if you order this, I already have drawn out the frame border lines for you. They are 1/2 inch on this one, so if you want to measure them out yourself, if you're doing this yourself, feel free to do that. And 1/2 inch is just about the size of the washi tape that we have in the kits, so it's perfect. I will just take my tape and I will line it up to the pencil mark here and put it down. So it's important to remember though with the washi tape, don't press it down too hard into the paper, because while it does a good job with not sticking to the paper, of course if you press it down a little too hard, it will take up some of your paper when you peel it off, and you don't want that. But even if that does happen, it's really no big deal. It's not, you know, doesn't make it look too bad, so don't worry about it too much. Oops, I don't know why this is like this. Hold on. That was weird. Sorry, my washi tape had some regular tape on it. Okay. Okay. And also, just random, I was considering, guys, about doing maybe some like group painting sessions on Zoom or something. I already offer for the people that get custom artwork or someone that wants to donate a little extra to do it themselves, like private live sessions on in Facebook, or not Facebook, FaceTime or Zoom. But if you wanted to, like, all of you get together, do a group session, everyone has ordered the kits, then we could definitely make that happen. Just let me know if you think that's a good idea. You can DM me at Instagram or send me an email, whatever suits you. Anyways, also want to thank everyone who has ordered a kit so far. Your business and support really means so much to me, and I can't stress that enough. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Now, back to our painting. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with her body, the mermaid's body. So I'm going to take a tiny bit of yellow, and one of the most important rules is a little bit of paint here goes a long way, always. You're going to definitely use less paint than you imagine you're going to need. So, and when you have them in these like little containers, honestly, just take a little bit out. You could always get more later. No worries if you do take too much out and it dries, whatever, you can still reclaim it, basically add some water to it, it comes right back to life. But just to, you know, be wary or to save some paint, to take a little bit out, you can always add more. You're not going to need that much. Okay, so I take a little yellow, I take a little of my red, I'm going to take some of my white gouache, I'm going to mix that all up. I get this nice peachy color, add a little more white to that, and of course you can change the skin tone to whatever you'd like. I think that's a good tone right there though. If you wanted to make it a little darker, you could add, let's see, maybe just a little bit of green, a little tiny bit of blue, a little bit of red, okay, a little more yellow, a little bit of white. It's a little too green there. Okay, let's see. A little bit of blue, a little bit of red. Green, yellow, red, okay. So they're like I don't know if you can see these two. So like a darker skin tone. These are just like the medium like colors that you'll be using. Darker skin tone or a lighter skin tone. It's up to you. I'm gonna go with the lighter one for right now. Okay. So, cleaned off my brush. Gonna take my little lighter skin tone that I've mixed up over here. Add some water to it. And I'm going to put it down on her belly. And everywhere where there's some skin showing. And the trick is you want to put enough water so it's like transparent enough so that you can still see your lines at this point, of course. Mix it in with that skin color a little bit. So I know you just said you can't use too much paint, or I mean, you'll always use too much paint. You know, just use a little and not kind of run out. So I'm mixing it with this other color, which is not bad. It looks good. Give her a little more of a tan complexion. Okay. Actually, a good way to get like a nice brown or like earthy tone is you take two complementary colors and mix them together. So if I was gonna mix like a little bit of yellow and purple, that would be nice. So I actually have a purple here. Let me put it over here. So if I take my purple and I take some of my yellow and mix it in kind of equal quantities, put a little bit of my fresh water with them, I get a nice brown color. So that's a good way to make like earthy tones. So I'm actually gonna use that to add a little bit of highlight onto her body now. I'm just putting it along some of the edges on her body. I'm gonna wash off my brush and kind of blend that in. Also a good trick when you're watercoloring is you start with like your basic like light layers of color, and then you kind of just work your way up, layering and adding more layers of color and depth and dimension as you go. So don't worry about it like looking too realistic at first. You're just starting and adding the framework for your masterpiece over here. So now that I have her body kind of shaded in, what I'm going to do is wash off my brush again, and I'm going to add in some color for her tail. And I'm going to take a little bit of my green and maybe mix it with a little bit of my blue, so get like a blue-green. Add a little water to that, and then I'm going to just go in and fill in the tail area. Try to stay in the lines if you can. Add a little more water to pull out the paint, make it a little more transparent, make it go a little further. So on this one that I drew, I actually drew the tail like off the ends, but if you'll see on like the ones that you'll probably get, the tail doesn't go off the ends, so I think it looks a little nicer. So I kept this one to do the example on, but if you decide you want to take off the ends, by all means, you can take your pencil and eraser and, you know, fix it up to your liking. So now I've gotten pretty transparent here in the tail since I've added more water, and I kind of really like the way that looks, so I'm gonna leave it like that for now. Go back to that later. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna add in the background a little bit. I'm gonna take my clean water, I'm gonna take my blue really lightly, add a little more water to that, and I'm just going to fill in this background. I'm going to start down low here because if I have these lines here that I'm going to use to be like a lighter area, so I'm not really going to go fill that in just yet. Just going to, oopsies, I used my blue-green. I'm just going to fill in the rest of the painting. Just a little more blue. I want to differentiate between the tail and the water here, even though I'll go back later and of course add some shadows and highlights, but for now just want to make it a little different. Okay, add some more water when I'm going up here because you know I want that to be lighter. Best thing is like when you have a spot like that that's like too dark of a color, you just add more water to it while it's still wet and you just blend it out, which is really nice. So I'm gonna avoid some of this area here because I'm going to be putting her hair there, but you don't have to avoid it too much because we're doing a really light layering of the blue right now. And that's what the paint, or not the tape is around here for, is so you don't have to worry about keeping your edges nice and clean. You can just paint over top of it, and then when you're done, we peel it off at the end, and voila, you have nice, clean border edges. So, okay. So now I'm going to take a little bit of some darker blue and put it into this edge of the painting, just because the light's coming from here, so we want this to be a little darker around like the corners and the edges, but I want to also have it like blend in just enough so that, you know, So I'm sort of covering up my fishes that are over here. Maybe I erased them a little too lightly, but I know where they are, so really not too worried about that. But maybe for you guys at home, if you want to kind of like take a mental picture of where the fish is gonna be, or try to like be really light with your colors around them, just so you don't get it too mixed up. So that looks good. Now what I'll actually do is I'm going to go back in to get the fish back a little. I'm going to take my blue, I'm not going to add too much water in it so it stays a little more opaque than translucent. And I'm going to just color in where the fish are. And there's kind of like shadows in here, so you don't have to be too precise. It'll still look good. Just kind of fill in the fishy shape. It's like they're like looking at what she's getting into, you know? The mermaid, if that wasn't clear. Okay. So that's one way how to make your paint lighter, is you just add water. Another way, of course, is to add some white to it, but that'll make it, the white gouache, it'll make it a little more opaque, and it also changes the color a little bit, like make it more of like a baby blue if you did it here, and instead of just like lightening or making the blue you already have more translucent. Okay, so there, looks good so far. So now we're gonna either take our purple or mix a little bit of the red and the blue, make our own purple, maybe with a little white, and do her clam seashell bra. So, I'm gonna do one in purple and one, and I'm gonna make my own purple. So if you happen to not get purple in your kit, you can make it yourself. So I'm gonna take a little bit of purple, take a little bit of water, and I'm going to just fill in her bra over here, or her bikini, I don't know what you call it. There's one. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and add a tiny bit, or same amount of my red to it, but both small amounts, of course. And a little more red because it still looks blue. Okay, now I've made a purple. Add a little bit of water. I might have to add white to it to make it nicer, but it's a little blue. I'm gonna add a little bit of water. Add a little bit more red. And have a nice purple clamshell bra. It's not looking so hot actually, but it's not a problem. So my purple looks a little better in there, and I think I just have a dirty brush, so hold on. My red and my purple, a little more blue, white, a little more white. Sometimes it takes a little practice getting your colors. I would totally suggest that when you are mixing colors like this, to practice on the practice sheets that are provided in your kit. Okay, so there, looks a little gray. I'm sure you guys will get it better. Okay. There we go. Yeah, now that I do this, I will try very hard to make sure everyone gets purple in their kit, just because it can be a little difficult to mix the perfect purple, especially when you're on a time crunch like I am to make this video not too crazy long. Okay, but we did it. Looks good. And now we're gonna do her hair, and of course you can do her hair any color you want, but I want to go for classic Little Mermaid red. So I'm going to take my straight red. I'm just going to fill in her hair like this. Looks good. So I have it very light and translucent right now, so you can still see the water in the background, the blue. I'm going to take a little more so it's not so translucent. There. Okay, a little bit of white, even though it might make it a little pinkier, but I think it did a good job blending that right there. Okay, so now I'm going to take a tiny bit of yellow, mix it with a little bit of the white gouache, and I'm going to do some lines in from where the sun is shining in over here. I'm going to make it very light though. I don't want it to like be too overwhelming with yellow. I kind of want to have that like white peeking through. So oops, got a little bit of her hair out. No big deal. I'm just going to blend it in. And I did it again. Just going to blend in that red with the yellow I have out here. Just, that looks fine to me. Okay. So, now I have the light cascading in. Everything looks good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a darker blue highlight under her tail here and around the edges of this part of the tail where it meets her human body. Just kind of blend it in. Add a little water to make the blend a little smoother of a transition. Take more of my straight red and add it into her hair. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna let this like dry just a second, and I'm actually gonna want to go in and I want to do some details with my black marker. I want to put it on her face. I want to outline her a little bit. I think it'll look best this way. So everything feels kind of nice and dry. What I'm gonna do first is just go to my dry stir. You'll see that's not dry down there. I just put my hand on and there's some blue on it. But it does feel dry. And you have to make sure, because with these pens, like if you do it on the wet paper, it'll kind of ruin your pen for you. So I'm gonna just outline right here. I'm gonna add her belly button, outline her back, outline where the body meets the fin, her tail. Okay, I think these are dry. These are dry. I'm gonna outline the clamshell bra bikini. Okay, add some lines down in there. Okay, I'm gonna outline the tail. Some lines in the tail. Hopefully at this point you'll still be able to see your lines clear enough that you can do this. If not, just try and, like, you know, I guess visualize it, how it would look. Look at your own hands, look at, you know. Sorry guys. I think you'll be able to get this, so, okay. Okay, hand's a little big there, but it'll be okay. Okay, I'm gonna go over these fish a little bit. Kind of cartoony, don't have to be perfect, just very artistic-y fish. Okay. But most important, hopefully you really didn't go over too much on her face, because you want to still see the lines. You want to get these nice. So what I'm going to do, color these in. Oops, sorry, I hope I'm not blocking your view over here. Oops. So if you haven't been watching this before you start, maybe you want to do this before you start painting. But no big deal if you don't. And everyone's pictures are going to be different, so, you know, might have a little bit of a different facial expression, or however you want it to look, you can change it to that too, so don't worry. Outline your hair now that it's dried a little bit. Do before I go in and fix the face and stuff like that is I want to just add some scales onto the tail. So actually, let me get a piece of scrap paper so I can show you what I want to do. Okay, so when it comes to the scales, we can either do them like that, those kind of scales, or you could do them like this, like those kind of scales. Depends on what you feel like doing. I'm just gonna go with these basic scales right here. And what sometimes is nice is when you're doing scales like that to not fill in everywhere, but to just kind of like do, you know, different patterns like all over the place on different things. But we'll start just doing kind of all of it right now. So now I'm gonna go back in and where's my favorite paintbrush? Oh, in the water, of course. Okay, so then I'm gonna go take a little bit of my red, go and put it on her lips. And if you want to do pinkier lips, just take a little bit of white, take a little bit of red, take a little bit of white, and a little more red. And you got some, I'm using my big brush. If you watch my other videos, you'll know that I really like using one brush for everything. Sometimes it doesn't work out that great, but I'm weird like that, so. I'm gonna add a little bit of color to her cheeks and her nose, and maybe a little bit just on her tummy and on her shoulders, and just places I think it might be nice to have a little warmth. I'm gonna take some water, of course, and blend everything in nicely. Got a little bit on her hair. I'll try to wipe that out and cross it out with some red. Okay. Maybe add a little bit of the warmth into her fingertips. And then blend it out, of course. A little bit of yellow to that, because there's that yellow coming down from the sunbeams, so I got warmth in there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my white wash and I'm going to go in and put it on her eyes. Tip of her nose, a little bit on her mouth. Just adding some like highlights too while I'm at it. Maybe on her cleavage, on her clavicle bones, a little tummy, and now a little highlight on her arm. Okay, I'm gonna go and put a little highlight on my fish now too. And now I'm gonna go in and put a little highlight on her fins, or not her fin, but her tail. So I'm just gonna go and like speckle in some of her scales. I'm gonna take a little bit of yellow and add it to it too. And I also take a little bit of yellow in my white and add a little highlight on her hair. Blend it in a little. Okay, I'm gonna take a little bit of my red maybe and put it on her eyebrows, you know, so they match. Okay. I just put a little red on her body. And sometimes I like to take the colors like from other places and add them into the painting somewhere just so they kind of reflect other parts of the painting. Okay, I'm gonna go back and take my white, add more white up coming from up here, add it on her hands a little. Just kind of So this video is going a little longer than I had hoped, but this is kind of a more complex painting, so yeah, sorry, but I think it needed the extra time, so I took a little bit of my green, a little bit of my yellow, a little bit of my blue. I'm gonna go in and just add a little more depth into her tail. Okay. I'm gonna go back in. I think her eyes are, no, not dry yet. We'll wait just a second. While I wait, I'll take a little bit of the gouache lightly on the tip of my brush here, and I'm going to take a little off actually and highlight her clam bra. So sometimes when you want to go highlight things with gouache in your paintings, you'll want to wait till after your painting is like dry to go do it. Otherwise it'll kind of become more translucent while it like blends in with your paint. But if you wait till after it's dry, usually you have a better chance of it standing out a little more. So I'm just going to take a little more blue and go into the background, just have a little bit of fun while I wait for her eyes to dry. Oops. I just got my clean water dirty, but we're almost at the end here, so it's okay. And I think what's fun about watercolors too is like you can make these like artistic, you know, painterly strokes, and I think it still looks good. What I'm gonna do here is add a little extra water though around these spots, and then I'm gonna come back in, do my little paper towel technique, which if you've watched my other videos, you're aware of. If you haven't, what I'm gonna do though is before all that water like soaks into my paper, I'm gonna take a clean paper towel and I'm going, and I'm going to dab up the extra water and paint, and it'll kind of create like a cool texture depending on the texture of paper towels too, and I just think it looks nice. So So now that I did that, I'm gonna go back with a little more water and blend the edges just a little more. So not exactly as blended as I wanted them to be. And then I'll probably dab that up again. But I do think that looks nice, so. Okay. So now her eyes are dry. I'm gonna go in, just use that to sit there for a second. And I'm gonna draw on her pupils, her irises and pupils. It's kind of, okay. Maybe give her a couple freckles. Okay. And voila, there's a quick and easy mermaid for you. Last but not least, I'm going to peel off these tapes here. And there you go, a nice mermaid drawing from your watercolor kit. Let me adjust this a little so that, oops, sorry guys, so that you can get a good view. And there you go. If you have any questions, comments, tips, concerns, whatever, please feel free to reach out to me via Instagram or email, or even if you want to comment on this YouTube video, it's up to you. But there you go. There's our cool mermaid drawing. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know.